What's up, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Believe in Falcons. I'm your host, Will McFadden. Joining me, as always, is former Falcons fullback Ovie Mahaley. Ovie, what's up, man? How you doing? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was real good. I had some family in town. I had a
Nice.
chance to eat. You know what? As I get older, Thanksgiving is it's a great holiday. It's not the favorite. I'm trying to figure out what the
What?
favorite
No,
is. You would think it was today.
it's for the guys.
This
Thanksgiving is for the
Thanksgiving.
men.
Yeah, it was. I had my little pieces and it was cool, and I just enjoyed the time off. I guess 'cause I've been going and going and going. I enjoyed just going down to the basement, and, hanging out with the kids, watching some TV, catching up, laughing a little bit. It was good, and I enjoyed it. But I think my favorite holiday has moved back into maybe Christmas. Is Christmas my favorite holiday? Christmas or New Year's? I think it's Christmas. Yeah, it's Christmas. Definitely
I
Christmas. But I
mean,
enjoy myself. How about yours?
first off, Christmas is just it's like the Disney of holiday stocks, right? It
Yes.
like it's the front runner always. It's
Yes.
Alabama, it's
Always. Mhm.
whatever. Christmas is a good one. I am partial to St. Patrick's Day
Are you
as
now?
as an Irish descendant myself.
Makes sense.
It's 5 days after my birthday. So
All
spring
right.
break at the University of Georgia always fell over my birthday weekend. So my birthday weekend would start spring break, and then St. Patrick's Day would wrap it up. So I am
Man.
partial. I don't know how I survived, frankly, my
Felt
4
like you were
years
on a
in
bender.
college.
You're gone for a
Uh,
couple of weeks, couple of
that
days.
that week probably did irreparable damage on my liver 4 straight years in a row. We'll deal with that later on. My Thanksgiving was great. We had a 19-pound brisket, which
Wow,
was amazing. It was as good
sounds
as
good.
large as it sounded. It was just that good. Watched a lot of football. So yeah, I mean nothing more you could really ask for. So that's awesome. I'm glad that yours was great, that we got to spend it with family and we got a little bit of downtime. The Falcons,
Ooh,
they're looking forward to their
ooh,
downtime coming up soon. One more game until the bye week. Brutal stretch. I mean, they have not had a week off, guys. We have had a few in between the start of the season and now, and they had not had any. But this was a just down and dirty football game in every sense of the word. The weather was brutal. It really fit, I think, the identity of these two teams. A great defensive line playing, what is a great run offensive line. What were your big picture takeaways from not only how this game was played, but then, and I'm sure we'll get into it, the way that
yeah.
this game ended?
Ooh, well, the big picture takeaway is Falcons going to Falcon. Don't allow yourself to get too excited. And it's hard not to because you see all the pieces being there. You see even in loss. I know no one likes moral victories. If you get back to the grounded Falcons fan that we all should grow up and aspire to be, we should realize that we're still more than 2 wins on our schedule. We still are exceeding expectations. I know we have reset our expectations, but we are in a good place for next year. And no one wants to talk about next year because we can sniff the playoffs if the Bucks mess up and if we win on some of these close games. But if you again go back to being a grounded, sensible Falcons fan, you should be happy with the growth because the growth is there. And the growth with some of the core members of this team is there. And the fact that we are in every single game and the fact that, you know, we're not winning some of the end, that's expected because of who we have at quarterback. That's expected because of some of the lack of depth at certain positions. That's expected. But the fact that we're in a position to strike, if put the drink down and sober up and realize, all right, as a Falcons fan, what should I be expecting? You should be expecting growth. And as painful as it is to say, even though we didn't win the game, we grew as a team. I think we grew as in our journey to become a good team. So that's what I saw. I was still mad as hell though.
I feel like I feel like you did a little bit of an about face there in the middle of your answer, where you started to get into the tip pass and the falconing, again,
Yeah.
and then started talking about but they're better than they should be. And this
Yeah.
is a good thing. Like you started heading down the negative alley and then
Yeah.
pirouetted and said, not yet. Let's stay in the light
You have
for
to
a minute.
remind yourself because it's hard, dude. Like as a Falcons fan,
It
you're just
is.
like, win the gosh dang game, win, like run the ball. What are you doing? Like that's how you operate as a Falcons fan, but as somebody who wants to be better than that and wants to be intellectual Falcons fan, you need to see the big picture and just pull out that lens a little bit and realize that this sucks, but dang, we are really doing some things well here. Like, and I'm excited about some of the young guys. And Troy Anderson, I guess, is not a bust over. He's doing
Yeah.
pretty well, and a lot of things that come to fruition or revelations that should make you have a little small smile on the side of your corner of your mouth.
They definitely, I think, impressed me even in what was ultimately an ugly game, because I was really ready to kind of tip my cap to Washington at several different points
Yeah,
during this football game and just kind of say, damn, this team has turned things around. Washington, of course, turn things around. They're playing really good football. They're playing complementary football in a way that I feel like Atlanta has played a lot of the season and continued to play today.
yeah.
And I was just kind of ready to say, at home with their momentum in this weather,
Hats
they
off
earned
to
this
them.
win. They earned
Yeah,
this win. And I
they
think
earned
it
it.
says a lot about the Falcons that they never let this game get out of arm's reach for them. And that goes to the complementary football that I'm talking about. This, I don't know how Atlanta's defense got that 3 and out after Atlanta's 3 and out, following, their first possession of the fourth quarter. Atlanta goes 3 and out. The Falcons defense had been on the field for like probably 35 real minutes
Yeah,
like of lifetime and 15 minutes of game time basically at that point.
yeah,
And they responded with a 3 and out to then let Atlanta have that big drive. That is kind of what I think you're getting at, Ovi, is the foundation is legitimate here.
yeah.
They're getting the most out of everybody on their roster, and they're playing the type of game, or they're morphing each game into a style that they can win. And
Mhm.
maybe that played into Washington's strengths a little bit, but I do think Atlanta is going to kind of wrestle the game in the direction that is going to most benefit them, even if they're playing a team that, may also want to play that style. And I do credit the coaching staff for finding ways to make these all one possession games. But this is a brutal one possession game to lose, Ovi, because it really is a swinging doors moment for this season. You win, and we'll talk about the play call here in 1 second, but you win this game, you're 6-6. After Tampa Bay
Did the Bucks
loses to
lose?
Cleveland, the Bucks lost.
Oh
So,
my gosh, that makes it
yes.
even worse.
Well, it makes
Come
it
on.
better in the sense that you don't really lose any ground in the
No,
division.
but it makes it
But
worse in that, like, we were
if you
there.
had
We were
won,
right there. We
right?
were
If
right
you had
there.
won, they would have hopped over Tampa Bay, first place in the NFC South.
Ooh,
You would have been,
sounds
you
good.
would have, I believe, also leapfrogged Washington in the NFC playoff picture.
Wild card, yeah.
Their tie-breaking scenario, Atlanta's is brutal, dude. Like basically, if they're in any tie-breaking scenario, they're gonna lose based on
Yeah.
the teams that they've lost to this year. But as a player, like, how critical is a loss like this when all throughout the year you say next game, one game at a time, but then you let one like this not even slip away, it was tip away. Like, you let
Yeah.
one of these tip away. What's it like in the locker room afterwards? How hard is it to go back to work on Monday?
I've been there, and it sucks, dude. Even if you're not a part of the reason that we lost or that you lost, the team lost, you still feel it. It's just a heavy, heavy burden that is on all the shoulders of the team members because everyone's getting a little tighter. And you realize that that window of opportunity is closing, getting smaller, and the coaches are going to start coaching with a sense of not, I won't say urgency. I think desperation. Everyone
Mm.
has a sense of urgency, but even some of the good coaches, you can hear that desperation in their voices. Some of the players who made the mistakes or on the bubble, you feel like you can hear that desperation. Some of the veterans who actually don't just care about the money they're making or don't just care about staying on the team. They care about championships or
Yeah.
get playoffs, and they actually want to do something with the season. They get desperate, and it just makes practice and workouts and weightlifting and film study just more difficult. And the good teams are able to, clear that in a day or two, in 48 hours. After the first meeting, watch the film, they can clear it. But
And
teams that
what is the best way to clear that? Is that to say, hey, collectively as a group, we recognize that, you know, pardon my language, the shit is hitting the fan right now and
yeah.
we have to get it together. But the best way for us to get it together is to clear this, focus on the task at like, is it a collective, hey, we're going to acknowledge the bad, but then we're going to know that the path forward, the best path forward is for us to act like nothing's going on? Or is it something else? Like, how do you clear that from the back of everybody's minds effectively?
Good question, but I think a big part of clearing that is accountability. At least for me, and the good teams I've been on in Baltimore with the Ravens, the good teams I've been on with the Falcons. Accountability is huge. Like
Hmm.
if you messed up and you effed up, you got to say, my bad. I know I did what I did wrong. I'm not gonna let it happen again. I realized, what led me to that position, and either I was tired, or I didn't understand my teammates' responsibilities, or I didn't see the safety, going in the A gap, or I didn't. You need to be able to talk to the people who depend on you, because if they think you're gonna make that mistake again and again and again and again, it makes it difficult for them to put their all out, to give that little extra bit
Yeah.
to trust you. Because if you don't trust the people you're playing with, you try to do more than you're supposed to. You try to do your job and their job, and that's
Right.
when you make yourself too thin, and you are susceptible to mistakes. So I think the best way to clear it is, and there are those games where, hey, we're not gonna watch the film, we're moving forward. I personally don't like that, because I want to know what happened. I want to know who did it. I want to be able to sorry, I want to go up to them and say, dog, what are you doing? You can't leave me on the island like that. The tackle's supposed to hit the defensive end before you go out to the linebacker. If you don't hit him, he gets a full running start at me. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
You guys, oh, my bad, Ovie. I got you. Next time, I'm gonna
It's
give
like
him
a
a jab and
quarterback leaving a
smoke.
receiver hanging out to dry over the middle,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. And so, as long as there's accountability, as long as you really talk it through, I think that you're able to clear and say, all right, we messed up. Won't happen again. We were close. Next time we're gonna win it. All right, let's go to work. And then that's all you can do. You can't dwell in your pity and pain and misery like the fans do. You don't have the ability to do that, because next game comes quick.
Let's talk about quickly the play that, ultimately has us sitting here talking about a loss as opposed to a win. The tip pass came at the end of a really impressive drive, exactly when the Falcons needed it. They get the ball with just over 5 minutes remaining. They had it under a minute by the time they were running that second down play on the 4 yard line. They don't run the ball. They throw a pass. It gets tipped to the line of scrimmage, picked off by Kendall Fuller in the end zone. Really
Great
kind of
play.
sneaky pick. Yeah, it looked
Great
like the ball
play.
was going to hit the ground. He just kind of dove in there and wrestled it and grabbed
Athletic
it.
as
So
hell. Yeah.
exactly, kind of like AJ Terrell's interception that wasn't an interception earlier. Just really good uh, ball skills, I think, from
Yeah.
some players in a game that was a monsoon. You wouldn't expect, but
hmm
yeah. So what did you think about the decision to throw the ball there on second down? The first down play was a run. It was stuffed in the backfield, but they'd been running the ball, at least well out of four plays, like one in every four was going to be probably a 4 yard pickup. What'd you
Yeah.
think of the decision to throw the ball there?
I just, man. I mean, if you would have scored a touchdown, I think it would be great. And that's the thing. We thought they were going to run. We thought they should run. The defense probably thought they were going to run, and probably think they probably should run, because getting that clock down any second more was going to be a benefit for the offense. Everyone's thinking they should run. So
Right.
sometimes the coaches try to outsmart themselves and say, "Hey, the easy answer is not the right answer. Let's see if we can get everyone believing we're going to run the ball again, play action or something, quick throw." And if it works, it's amazing,
Yeah.
brilliant idea going against the grain. And if it doesn't, which oftentimes it doesn't, you're just like, why would you stop doing what got you all the way down there and now try to be cute? Because the whole squad, as they always do, at least recently, were were lathered up, ready to go, really feeling it in the zone. You
Yep.
know, I think in a good place to make something happen. And so it's just so frustrating, so painful to watch them decide to throw the ball when you're right there. You're right there, like a dummy. I was just like, hey, no, don't score a touchdown. Like just to fall out of the 1 yard line. Let's bleed the clock all the way down, thinking that we could score at any time, like at any second, any moment. It kind of makes you wish that it would have just punched it in, a little bit earlier because I feel like we were just that close and one uh, piece of daylight away, and to watch that happen, it's like the world in slow motion. You're like, oh, he didn't catch it. He dropped it. Ball hit the ground first. He didn't catch it. Not an interception. And everyone just like that was the response that I think you could hear around all of Atlanta. Everyone hitting their palms to their heads and saying, I can't believe this foolishness. This is crazy. But
That's the exact reaction that I had when Julian Edelman caught that pass in this. Never
Super
mind,
Bowl.
we don't need to go there.
Yeah, let's not go back there. But painful. This was painful enough. Let's
It
leave it at
it is.
this.
I so I asked that knowing, after watching Arthur Smith's post-game interview, kind of his response,
Mhm.
and
The same.
he took accountability, to your point, and he
Yeah.
said, "Look, that's life as a play caller, right? You're in a position to be second guessed. They're in a position, if that doesn't work, yeah, you get called cute, right? That's usually the word that we use because common sense would say, look, you're 3 yards away. You've got a
Yes.
225-pound dude with 6
Oh,
300-pound dudes in front of it, like, you
O
can't
line
get
was
3 yards.
balling. O
Right.
line was balling all
And that
day.
goes a little bit to my, theory that offenses are one of 2 things. Your engine is either in the front of the car or the back of the car. It's either with your offensive line or it's with your quarterback, running back, or some other part of your offense. When the engine's in the front of your car, like Atlanta is, that should work to your favor in short yardage situations.
Yep.
If it's in the back, it gets a little dicier, but your offensive line should gain confidence, gain ability from that kind of trust.
Yeah.
What Arthur Smith said was that it was kind of the perfect look. And I don't know if he was saying that he made that call intentionally or if that was a check that Marcus Mariota went to at the line of scrimmage. He didn't get
Mhm.
into that, but all he said was that the look was exactly what you would want. And it got tipped to the line of scrimmage. And
Yeah.
the other guys on the line of scrimmage get paid to do their job as well. And that's one where you just say they made a play and you had the look you wanted. And sometimes the guys make a play. How
Like
like
in my mind,
how does that jive with you?
that it jives me in that. I mean, I don't expect anything different from Arthur Smith. He's like Matt Ryan for commentating or for his reply. He's so good. Says almost the right thing every single time. Stoic, won't throw
In a
anybody in the
way that
bus.
makes you believe it a little bit too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he won't throw anybody in the bus. Gives the bland vanilla answer, and it's just like it is what it is. And you want him to show some more emotion. You want him to get pissed off. You want him to throw something and get loud. And he's just like, nah, I made the call. It was a good look. I thought we had a chance. Next question. It's like, wait, no. You need to address what in the hell happened, and I need to be okay with it before we move forward. And he doesn't give a damn about your feelings. He's part of the F your feelings crowd. He's just about this team and about winning games, even though we lost some we should have won. But I have to respect him in his press conferences, and even with the mistake, I'm hoping that as a coach, he learns from it. Second year head coaching, right?
Yeah.
But he's been calling plays for quite a while. But
A little bit.
yeah, second year head coach. I would hope that next time the easy answer can be the right answer. It's okay. And Mike Mularkey back in the day, like me and Mike Turner went up to his office, and I remember very clearly we sat and had a conversation with him, and I was just like, Coach, don't do that shit again, because we were in a situation where we won the game, but he tried to get cute. It was like second down, third down, and it was
All right,
like,
Ovie, what time are we meeting in Flowery Branch tomorrow?
I mean, we can go be Arthur Smith. I don't think he will give me the same respect Larky did, but we just like don't do that shit anymore. Like that we can do our job. Even the offensive line is just a stalemate.
Yeah.
Ovie's going in. I'm coming behind him. We're getting
Everybody
1
in the
yard.
building knows it's
We
what's
are
happening.
always
Yeah.
getting at least 1 yard. We'll get 2 or 3. Like, 3rd and 3, give us the ball. And he's like, "I'm gonna give you all the opportunity until y'all make me look bad. Ball's yours. Short yardage. Ovie either give it to you or you block it for Mike, and I'm gonna do that." And pretty much like he stood true to that. Like the vast majority of the time, he stood true to that because we were just like, we know our capabilities. We know what we can do, and we'll be damned if anybody takes that away from us because we were at both veterans at the time at the point to where we wanted to have the ball. We wanted to be Kobe, wanted to be Jordan. Give me the damn ball. If the game's gonna be on the line, don't try to do some end around bootleg. And for God's sake,
Yeah.
don't get Matt Ryan do a quarterback sneak with those little chicken legs of his, wobbling around trying to push forward and getting pushed back. No. So they need to have that conversation. Me and you probably can't show this flowery branch. They won't let us in. But I think a Cordero Patterson or some of the offensive linemen say, Coach, 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 stop it. Don't do that no more. Now, don't do that anymore because it's got to be one of the most painful things as a runner, an old lineman, a blocker, and knowing you could have made an effect in the game for good and not get the opportunity.
I know for sure that my passcode in Flowery Branch doesn't work anymore. So
You
definitely,
tried it
yeah,
at 2 a.m. in the morning.
they had me locked out before my desk was cleaned out. So no, I think that the Falcons have done a really good job. And when you are the less talented team, right, it narrows the scope of the types of games that you can play successfully. You
Yeah,
can try to get into a shootout, you're not going to succeed. You can try
no,
to bury a team before the half. You're more likely to let a team back in it.
yeah,
There's only certain strategies you can employ. And I think the Falcons, they know they got to get games down to a relative coin flip. They got to
yeah,
get these games down to 3 or 4 play games. And sometimes when you're doing that and the nature of the volatility that comes with that, because all you need is really a handful of plays to go against you in a game, and that
yeah,
could be the difference in a win or a loss. You need the breaks to bounce your way sometimes. And today was a literal example of them breaking the other way.
yeah,
And maybe it's Washington season, and maybe the Falcons are a year away from getting that run of luck. Like, who knows? That's the reason why we all love this game, is because 1 week means the difference between expecting something more and sitting here questioning what has gotten you here. But let's talk real quickly about the run games. Amazing running battle between these two teams. The Falcons, 167 yards on the ground. They
yeah.
averaged 6 yards a play on Sunday, which was really impressive. The Commanders actually outgained Atlanta on the ground with 176 yards. Brian
Really?
Robinson, yep, 105 yards from Brian Robinson. The
Dang.
Falcons, again, a committee. Tyler Algier, 54 yards. Cordero Patterson, 52 yards. Marcus Mariota, 49 yards. But turning on the game, seeing it's basically a monsoon out there, we kind of got exactly what we expected. And it was not
Yeah.
a boring game. It was not a sloppy game. It was actually a really fun game of ground game football. I mean, what'd you think watching it, Obi?
I mean, I loved it. Those type of games, it get me all excited. The hair on the back of my neck stands up. I know that they got to come to us. The game's gonna be won or lost, through the running backs. And I saw Michael Turner and Jerry Snorwood a couple weeks back at one of these Falcons games. It was the alumni Falcons game, and they didn't see me coming. I grabbed them both on the by the neck. And I said, "Hey, RB's on three. RB's on three. 1, 2, 3. RBs." And I have to say it. They both said RBs because we had a little chant that we would say, "Hey, game is won or
Well, and you
lost on
told
us."
me what to say, but
Yeah, no,
also,
that is true. It's part of the chant, the call and repeat. But it was just good seeing them because I remembered all the times that we would have these rainy games and it'd be just
yeah.
nasty weather. And I grabbed their helmet and put up against mine. I said, "This is our day. We're up. This is our day. Let's go to work." And we knew Malark would be calling on us, calling us, calling us, and we loved it because we're getting chunks, 3 yards, 5 yards, 12-yard run, 4 yards, 2 yards, 8-yard run, and that was just how the game's going to go. But I am so proud of our running backs, our running game, and the coaches to call these run
Yes.
plays against defenses that are supposed to
Are
be
really good.
run defenders. That's the thing. And this is not the first time we've been told, well, Atlanta's been doing good in the run game, but this defense, they're going to have to change it up. Or this
Yep.
defense, they're going to have to change it up because they're run stoppers. They got big D tackles. They've been shutting everybody down. And we don't give two flying farts about how good their rush defense is. We're still coming at you.
Yeah.
And that's something, again, one of the things that as a Falcons fan, foundationally, you got to be excited about that we're still hitting these crazy numbers against these very good rush defenses. So I think I saw a tweet, something you saying the O linemen need to get a beer, whether they win or lose. You're absolutely right. They need to get several beers and some brown liquor, whatever they want, because they did O linemen, across the country just proud, just watching the way they duck walk people back, watching their fight, watching that second, third, fourth effort, watch them go up to the second level, watch them run down the field, watch them be a little nasty, a little dirty at times. Like you saw it because the camera always pans away, but you'll see at the corner of the camera, offensive linemen driving their guy down. And I was like, these boys are doing it.
Yeah.
And sometimes fatigue sets in at these long, sloppy games. In the fourth quarter, they were still out there moving people.
They really were, and I tweeted that out about the beers right after an amazing drive, I believe in the second quarter, where there was one play where a little bit of a delayed handoff in the backfield. By the time Tyler Algier got back to the line of scrimmage, the interior of Atlanta's offensive line was 5 yards down the field. I think
Yep,
the first person to touch Tyler Algier on that play was the safety at, like, the 9-yard line
yep,
past the line of scrimmage. It was dominant against a unit that the defensive line is by and large seen as the premier unit on Washington's team.
yeah,
Terry McLaurin is maybe the best player, but the defensive line is the identity of this group. And this offensive line has manhandled them just like they did against the
mm,
49ers, just like they did against, the Rams by and large. I mean, they have passed every test. And yeah, it's a
yeah,
testament to everything making it work. But again, it's this offensive line because you kind of throw anybody back there for Atlanta, whether it's Caleb Huntley, whether it's Tyler Algier, whether it's Cordell, like
Avery,
they're going to
yeah,
get anybody yardage. And they also allowed one sack to a group that is pretty skilled in getting to the passer. So in a loss, I think the offensive line is trending in absolutely the right direction by and large this season. This is one of their more impressive games so far this year. So that was great.
yeah.
Any concerns about the run defense quickly, or do you think this was just
Uh,
the Washington is good at running the ball as well?
it's great. I was surprised when you told me that they had them in yard because you know I saw a lot of good plays by Grady, by Evan Cady, by even our boy Troy,
Hmm.
and I felt like they were, especially the second half of the game, the fourth quarter. I thought they were doing a great job. Not a great job, but they were doing an above average job at
Yeah.
curtailing the run, stopping the run. But I'm not too worried about them because I've been feeling like they've been overachieving the run defense. We don't got a bunch of Vita Veas on our team, big run stuffers. Grady Jarrett, slightly undersized, but an amazing talent. We're doing really good for who we have.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I feel like even though I was able to get that key three and out in the fourth quarter, give the offense a chance to win the game. Um, the defense is they're ahead of schedule. So as much as I want to talk bad about them and nitpick, I'm excited about where they're going, and hopefully they can keep on raising the level of play.
I think if you look at some of the more telling team metrics in this game, like they'll on the one hand show that the defense faced an uphill climb in this one. Washington came into the lead or into this game as the league leader in time of possession with 31 minutes, I believe, kind of time of possession average. They had 33 minutes and 9 seconds time of possession in this game. They really swung that in the second half. And I think if there was a bad stretch for the defense today, it was kind of end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, which is when Washington kind of flipped it a little bit in
Mhm.
their favor. So, they struggled there, but really 5 of 12 on third down was Washington. They averaged 5.2 yards per play, which is less than Atlanta did today. It just they had a little more plays to run. The Falcons could have had a couple of turnovers. One got overturned. They did get the one from Michael Walker. So I actually was pretty impressed with the defense. I thought they stood up at some big times. And again, this team is playing complementary football to a level that I just didn't expect coming into the year. Is it safe to say, though, that given these last couple of performances, what they did against Justin Fields and a really red hot, dangerous Bears offense, and what they did today, which was, not pretty, but outside of Brian Robinson, who had 105 yards, Taylor Heineke, 138 yards through the air, Terry McLaurin, only 48 yards. I mean, there wasn't another standout on an offense that does have some playmakers. I mean, is the defense the better unit of the offense and the defense right now?
Um, no, I still think with our run game is so impressive. And you need good defense and a good run game to win if your talent is average, which is around where we're at. And so those are two things that I think it's great for Terry Fontenot because it's plug and play. It helps to have your standouts, but you can go and get a bunch of blue collar players for your run game and your defense and win championships or go into playoffs deep. I think we have that. But our run game is still the star. What our O line is doing, what Cordell Patterson is doing, what Algiers is doing, what we've been able to do this whole season is unheard of. It is astounding. Like I said, me and Mike T when we and Jarris when we spoke, we talked about this run game reminds me of when we was playing. It's one to where they may not fear us, but they should fear us because we're
Hmm.
running straight
Yeah.
down, their throat through their chest. We gonna get them, and it's fun to watch. And so I think that even the time possession, us keeping the ball, it helps the defense out in a big way by them not having to get right back on the field. Us going 3 and out. So I think the defense it's close, but the rush game is still the better group.
I think that that's a great way to frame it because I think that the defense as a whole, we're talking defensive line, linebacker, secondary, is probably playing better right now than the
Yeah.
offensive line, quarterback, running back, receivers, tight ends. Like
Yes.
the sum of the defense, I think, is playing better football right now than the sum of the offense, but the run
True.
game is still the
Yes.
best facet of this team. And
Yep.
it's better probably than anything, the collective of that defense. So I think that that's exactly spot on. Real quick, but before we kind of wrap things up here, what did you think about and I have my thoughts that I'll share after yours, but the decision to kind of not only go for it on fourth down there before halftime, but to let the clock run down from, over a minute to 24-ish, 28-ish seconds there before running that play. What did you think about that choice?
Oh man, it's just like the end choices. Hindsight 2020. So it's easy to pick apart uh, mistakes when they've been made. But I'm more of an aggressive type. I'm always going to choose or be in favor of the coach trying to not play it safe, to try and go for it, to try and make something happen, to put the trust in your players because that's
Yep.
how you build characters, how you build chemistry, is how you build a certain culture. When the coach knows that, hey, we get in this situation, we're going for it, we're going to do it, we're going to make it happen. Now, part of the payoff is actually making it happen and doing it. So, I'm for coaches and players being aggressive in the NFL.
I agree, and I agreed with the whole approach to this deal here, which was basically that Atlanta faced a 4th and 1 with a little over a minute to go. They came up to the line of scrimmage, didn't call a play, let the clock run all the way down to 29 seconds, called a timeout, came back out on the field with their offense. 4th and 1, 29 seconds. Cordero Patterson gets stuffed. They turn the ball over. I did see a lot of people say, like, why did you, if you were going to run a fourth down play, maybe try to catch Washington off guard, run up to the ball, get that fourth down, get the momentum, and just QB sneak it, do all of that. I think that you're right near midfield. You're at your own 47. So again, 3 yards away from the 50. Why kind of give Washington? Both teams have all their timeouts at this point. Arthur Smith said that it was a game of chicken at that point to kind of see if Washington was going to call a timeout to preserve the clock or what was Atlanta going to do. And he just decided, hey, if they're not going to call a timeout, we're going to let all of this clock run down because with 29 seconds, if you pick up a first down there, all right, you have 25 seconds left on the clock. You have two timeouts left and 25 seconds. Like that's doable
Yeah.
from about midfield. Like you guys walk through these end game scenarios, that's totally
Yeah.
doable, right? And I think
Absolutely.
that they viewed that as, hey, if we don't get this, now they don't have a minute to work with and all of their timeouts.
Yes.
They've got 25 seconds and three timeouts, but like 25 seconds is not that much time. I mean, like that's
You don't
just
got that many plays with 25 seconds.
exactly. So I think it was to mitigate their own risk. And yes, did it make it a more of a time crunch if they had picked that first down? Sure, but also they didn't, and maybe that played into it as well. So that's kind of what Arthur Smith said post game. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that, I guess, for
Yeah.
people because I did see a lot of that going around. It's some in-game strategy where, hey, we're going to milk the clock and kind of continue to see our options. Um, before we get out of here, Ovi, the Washington jerseys, I loved them. I thought they were awesome. I kind of, all right, you're shaking your head, yes, but I have a sneaking suspicion that you wouldn't like them. Am I wrong?
They, I mean, I don't even like the name Washington Commanders. I'll be honest with everybody. The
I
Commanders,
don't think I don't think a lot of people do. I don't have
yeah,
an issue with them, but I don't think you're in the minority there.
yeah. So it just, I'm, it just, especially someone who played when they were the Redskins. I understand, and
Yeah.
I agree with changing it, but it's just what you're used to, what you're comfortable with, and what your eyes are able to be comfortable seeing. And those jerseys, yeah, they were cool if like you're in college and this Oregon team they're switching it up. That to me they just seemed like with the black and that burgundy, they just seemed off. So I completely understand how a lot of people can think that they're really cool because they had a sort of je ne sais quoi. They had a certain something special about them. But I personally, because I know them in a different light. Um, just I couldn't get with it. It's
I
personal
really
preference.
I liked the all black with the kind of like yellow highlighter colors,
Mhm.
the numbers. I don't know, it looked kind of like a haunted house to me. Like the with the black exterior and then the bright yellow shining through. I thought it was kind of cool. I'd never
It's
seen
like an XFL team to me. It
it,
looked like
it,
an
it
XFL
was
team.
it was a little bit, but like one of the cooler ones, where those jerseys
Sure.
like almost like Oregonish,
Yes.
where like that. So I didn't mind it. I thought it was kind of interesting. I thought it was interesting with the Falcons wearing their it was a nice kind of contrast. I thought for this game. So I didn't hate it. It would have been a very ugly looking game, I think, if Washington had worn their burgundy or their maroon, like with it raining, with it being sloppy and just
Yeah.
overcast. Like it would have been a much uglier looking game, I think. But I don't know. The jerseys did it for me.
Yep.
So all right, we end here 5-7. One more game against Pittsburgh before the bye week. They should be favored, I think, against Pittsburgh,
We
and
should.
they but I expect another close game, right?
Yeah,
And
I
again,
do.
who knows? Any closing thoughts before we get out of here, Ovi? Just where the Falcons go from here?
It'd be so nice to just blow out a team. It'd be so nice just come in there and just to blow out a team. Because we were saying the first half of the season, oh, second half, those are much easier games. We should have some wins and maybe see some blowouts, or at least I was thinking some blowouts with the easier games. It hasn't happened. I think that you never know what Tampa Bay is going to do because they lost. We're still right there in it.
Yeah,
And the last thing you want to do is to be like, oh my gosh, Tampa Bay just they fell apart in the season. I wish I would have taken those games more seriously. I wish I would have not given up hope that there's no way we can get into the playoffs. You don't want to have that woulda, coulda, shoulda type of mentality. So the players, leaving everything on the field. And not just that, it's contracts. you someone's always watching, and so for your team, yes, but also for yourself and for your game film, you got to make sure you go out there and do everything you can to put your best on the field and to help your team win. So it's not over. I think
No,
we got some ways to go, and there are enough positives to where if we can learn from these positives, we can still be a pretty dangerous team.
for sure. And again, to your point at the opening of the pod, this team's ahead of schedule. Like it was all about
Yes,
finding answers that this team has found a lot of answers that are
lots.
probably going to matter moving forward. So that's awesome. I kind of expect, to your point, a little bit of a pent up frustration game this week. Like
This
the
can be
bye
good.
week is here. God dang it. Why did it take so long for the bye week to
Yeah.
get here? Like we're just gonna take it out on this team that
Yep.
the NFL did us dirty. And we're gonna go into the bye week and leave it all out on the field. So yeah, we'll have plenty of time to talk about that matchup later this week. But thank you guys so much for listening today. Please welcome everybody along for the ride for these final few games while we've got them. I will be off at some point in the near future. First child due literally 1 month from now as we are recording. So whenever he decides to show up, I will have a plan in place. We're already getting it figured out, Ovie. I'll clue you in offline on that. But don't worry, we will have you in great hands for the time I am away. And then I will be back for the podcast. So let everybody know where they can find it: Spotify, iTunes, all of that good stuff. Today's podcast is always presented by Bet Online. You can follow Ovie on Twitter at OvieMahaley34, myself at Will McFadden. Catch us on YouTube, Sirius XM, TuneIn Radio, all of that great stuff. And thank you guys so much for listening. The Falcons lost a really tight one. This sucks,
Mhm.
but it'll be okay. Until next time, everybody, take care.